the intro. I was like, I bet you're gonna forget. I fucking forgot. God damn it. It was important stuff we were talking about. It had something to do with something. Oh well. I got nothing. Wait for a couple people to come in here. Oh God, I'm so sore, man. Oh, so physically sore. Uh, I'm gonna get my tools out. I need to process all this dead shit right there. All that. We're gonna raise the skirt on this area to discourage people from coming in here. I found a crystal pipe loaded, fucking loaded. It had a bowl in it that already crackled back. It was all fucking sharded out, and I was like, damn, there's a couple hits in there. That would be the worst fucking instant sickness and uncomfortability for me. So I smashed it on the ground. Dude, one time, I already know, even if it was the fucking bomb, it has all, it's been laying there for so long with fucking, like I found a weed pipe one time, had a fat green bowl in it. And it was like, should I hit it? Somebody hit it, I remember, and it was instant cough. It tasted like shit. It was like unsmokable. But I mean, crystal's really out of the question. You could leave that on the fucking flow and it'll just stay there forever, dude. Um, God, I forgot what I was gonna fucking talk about, dude. I had like some interesting comments and like some shit that's going on. Oh, but I fucking forgot what. Oh, the styro. That's right, dude. Okay, so I took a styrofoam container, like a styro, that food tray, and I was just like holding it like this. Just holding it right here. What's that? What's that? Just holding my styro, you know what I mean? But I had cut in a hole in the bottom of the styro and I stuck my dick and my balls in that hole. So it was an empty styro with just a fucking limp dick and two hairy nuts, you know what I mean? And I was just waiting, dude, for somebody to be like, "What's in the styro, homie? What you got, dog? Like, what you got?" And people would ask, and I'd be like, "I got those cookies, homie. Those big cookies, the good ones." You know what I mean? And for sure, somebody would be like, "Let me get one of them." You're like, "Okay," and you open the box, and you could tell it takes them a second to fucking register because they look at it and they're like, "What am I looking at?" And then they get this look at it like, "Oh," and everybody starts laughing, ha 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 ha. And for sure, dude, 100%, every person that I did that to not only would look away and laugh, but they would immediately be like, dude, we got to get so and so. Like they'd have somebody in their mind that they just had to fucking dick bomb immediately. Like there's no anger. Somebody was like, that's a good way to get your ass. Well, maybe for you, but I didn't get my ass kicked. That fucking people thought that was the funniest shit ever, dude. And I swear to God, it was like you went from 30 people and one dude doing the styro joke, right, to 30 people following the styro around like a horde, and you're systematically getting every single person one by one, and everybody's laughing and saying, "Do it to this one, do it to this one," and it's just a horde of people following this guy around with a styro. You know what was really golden? It's like, okay, standing there holding something at crotch level, it could be a little suspicious. But when you're sitting down, dog, when you're sitting down, like Indian style or something, and that shit's just in your lap, it don't look like nothing, bro. Faux show. And you're gonna be hungry. This is in county jail, by the way. So you're definitely gonna be hungry. All them fat motherfuckers that ain't used to living on 300 calories a day are definitely starving. They the first one's like, "What you got, dog?" I got them big cookies, homie, that the Deps get. Got the homies in the kitchen, dog. What you want, homie? Peanut butter or chocolate chip? You know what I mean? That shit was funny. It's funny because it takes people a minute to realize, like, what are you looking at, dude? You know what I mean? There's no manscape, dude, in the shit. That shit is like so fucking hairy and out of control and hideous. It's fucking funny, dude. And then so a big horde of people following around to get everybody. Like you're just waiting for a fresh fish, dude. Like each person as they come in, like, oh dude, get him with the stove, get him with the stove. And that was just funny. Then some other guy ended up getting me back, had a better joke. Yeah, I thought that was funny and everything like that. And then he played it real serious too. He's like, "Yeah, Holmes, I got up." And we're like, I don't know if it was like the intro was so slick, dude. It was like, "What are you in for?" or something like that. And he's like, "I got shot." And he starts telling the story, and you're like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, and the fucking cop shot me right here, and it went in through here." And then he starts turning around, and he throws his pants down and spreads his cheeks so you could see his asshole, and he goes, "And it came out here," and everybody's like, "Oh, like you got us back, dog. You got me back." I mean, and that is far. Like I'll put my junk in a styro and roll like that. Like I'm cool with that, but I don't think I could bend over and spread my cheeks in a room full of 30 fucking people, even though like there's no threat of any kind of uh it's funny, dude. It's real, right? It's real. Nikki, I already killed your heart, dude. Or are you talking about my son? Yeah. So there's no future. Future means he's not. That kid's taking more life than you ever will in your fucking career, bro. He's not like, what do you mean? That's how he eats. You want to eat, you go get a rabbit out of a thing and you smash its fucking head in. And if you don't do it, you're not no fucking son of mine. Last I checked, not only is it not illegal to kill animals, but this country's all about killing animals in mass. So better just hope they never get you pegged as an animal. Hi, Chandra. You see, Nikki, how sweet some people could be? Hi. It's not that hard. And then did I not say? Now you guys can tell me that I don't everything that comes out of my mouth isn't truth. And whatever I say, if it isn't already happening, it's gonna come to pass. And I said, if not one person is ever in my stream, Nikki Bailey, like the rocks themselves, will fucking be there to call out my name. Right? It's the same thing God says, dude. If not one person praises my name, the very rocks themselves will sing out with praises. I'm just like God, homie. Same shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't need your praises for nothing, dude. I take what I want. And that's a fact. And the world takes what they want. Every power that be is there because they took what they wanted and fucked you in the ass. And you're left holding the bag, punching a time clock, answering to another man like a bitch. Now, if that's a young kid, I am not talking to you because we have to indenture ourselves. Those of us that were not born with families or position or any kind of resource, we have to make ourselves valuable by indenturing ourselves to a man that is actively participating in what we want to participate in the future. And it doesn't matter if it's flipping burgers. I know a guy that started working at McDonald's when he was 16 years old while we were in high school, and he's still working at McDonald's now. And he makes about $72,000 a year as a district regional manager. And I think he didn't just get that position, he's been at that position for quite some time. But when I saw him about 5 or 6 years after high school, he was doing like fucking 40 grand back then, bro. And that's like in the early 90s, mid 90s. You know what I mean? And that's what taught me. I said, because I felt it. I felt God telling me in my spirit because I don't have a father to teach me myself. So God is to be the one to step up and say, hey, man, just get into anything that's legal and stick with it. And I immediately thought of that kid, dude, that worked at McDonald's. I'm like, yeah, it worked for him. Holy shit. Right. And I saw these guys do state park, big eucalyptus trees, 300 footers. You know what I mean? That's not where the working height was about 70 to 100 feet. But, you know, if you measure the very tippy leaf tip top of a fucking eucalyptus tree, you know, and I saw the guys swinging around in the tree and doing big cuts to big chainsaws up there and getting tools sent up and down. And when they had to go to another tree, how they wouldn't come down, but they would transition by having 3 or 4 guys on that rope at the bottom and whipping that person on into the other tree, you know, like a 40-foot swing. I thought that was cool. I wanted to do that. I saw when they had like a 14,000 pound piece of wood, you know, and it couldn't be dropped on anything because the historic state park is underneath. It's got like California's first fucking schoolhouse. Like there's a lot of firsts there, dude. And right, and it's all preserved the way it would have been back in those days, like where they even have like fake steaks on the table and shit. So you can't drop logs or that stuff. You know what I mean? And that impressed me. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I could do that. And then there was a lot of freedom in it too, because you get dropped off at a work area, or even if you're doing forestry or cutting fire lines, there's no boss, there's nobody up your ass. You know what you need to do. You know your equipment, your saws and your chains and your tools and your files, and you know what I mean? And you do it. And that's it. And nobody's on your ass. And you could smoke weed and other things. And it was great, dude. And I actually got like a really abnormally generous boss who was like, I noticed every employee like grew up without a father, and it was like, and he was a woodcutter from uh, Mount Baldy. His dad had a wood mill up there, and they're really awesome people. And it seemed like he took in people who didn't have any structure or guidance in their life and guided them, dude, and how to make money. And the 90s was blowing up. You make $1,000 a day. I watch people make $1,000 a day up until 2008. From 1994 to 2008, people were doing $1,000 a day, myself included. Where I fucked up though is I wasn't greedy and I was stupid and I thought like, well, I just take what I need. I don't need more. Let's just go home. I got $3,000. Let's just fucking surf for 2 weeks now. And you know what I mean? I didn't think like about the future and that, you know what I mean? Like you got to save all your money because you're not going to make $1,000 a day one day or something could happen. And a lot of things did happen. The fucking housing bubble happened in 2008. That stopped. We did come back from that. We had a good fucking run during Trumpito's reign. And then it just fucking, and then that was it. Hey, you can't grill it till you kill it. Unless you're that Chinese guy on TikTok, he grills live animals. You know what I mean? And I love octopuses, dude. They are highly intelligent, dude. I have seen an octopus unscrew a baby jar cap after it watched you do it once and was fucking clueless before that. So they definitely watch and learn. They're smart as fuck, dude. And I don't feel right about it. You know what? I'll tell you the truth. I don't even want to eat meat anymore. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm just like, I don't want to hurt any animals anymore. And I just like don't care. I lost my appetite. I, um, I would have done it for you for Chandra for free. You know what I mean? Doesn't take me shit. How are you gonna process it? What are you gonna do? You're gonna keep the wood? If you're keeping the wood, you're fucking Gucci, dude. Yeah, you just need somebody to know what to do. Maple, or last couple maples I found, they're usually hollow, or there's sections of big branches that are hollow, and I make drums out of them, like good drums, dude, with extremely stretched skin. There's no like my drums are legit. I don't have any because they always get stolen, and then it makes me feel good. I'm like, damn, you broke into my house or you got in my camp and all you took, I had like good ass shit, but y'all took them drums and I made those drums from scratch from maple wood. So we don't have a lot of them down here. So I bet you that one that you got is fucking worth gold, dude. Bro, if me and my son were smashed by a tree, we already talked about this. Our problems are over. Like, we got a lot of problems right now. Like we wake up thinking about all this shit that we got to go do, and we take off on our day going to do what we got to do, and we do what we got to do, knowing that it's not going to provide what we need, and that it's not going to be enough, and that it's all for nothing pretty much because of what's going on right now. And it's not good, dude. It's not good. We're all going to be in encampments anytime now, dude, any day. Look at what happened at that snowstorm. That snowstorm hit in Canada, which are supposed to be the most peaceful people. They never have any shit, right? And those people looted that fucking town, dude, where they had to have the army come in. It might not have been Canada, could have been upstate New York. But wherever that fucking blast just happened and everybody was sealed in, those people, there wasn't even one item in the Walmart, dude. Go look at it on YouTube. Go look it up. They fucking cleaned out everything. And those are people, dude, those are, I'm assuming that they're all white, dude. There might be a couple of Africanos, but okay, that have stuff. So just wait, dude, until something happens when the infrastructure's fucked and everything, and these people are gonna go nuts. And they ain't gonna have any choice but to do like what they did in upstate New York 2 or 3 days ago and have the National Guard and the Army come in and be under a travel no travel ban, bro. You're not allowed to travel. You have to be stay in your house, and it is arrest on site if you're even out in the streets. That's facts, bro. If you don't want somebody to have a house, or you don't want somebody to have food, or you don't want people with small children to have that, you're a piece of shit. You're not only are you a fucking piece of shit, but you're the problem in this world. Your greed and your fucking mentality is the reason that not only the environment's fucked up, but that's the reason that we have to pay ridiculously abnormal fees for something that you already got. I registered my vehicle the first time when you gave me the plate. Anything outside of that is just a form of pimpery. And it wasn't always like that, dude. And it's not the Constitution. That's the what happened because you have greedy hands that get in the pot and they're not gonna let it go, dude. And you're gonna eat shit. And if you think that you're a fucking prepper or you have your shit together somehow, you're going to fucking prison for sure. You're not gonna be able to walk around with your fucking AR and your bullshit. They're gonna arrest you, man. Ain't nobody walking around on there, right? And if somebody comes up onto your shit, to get your shit and you shoot and kill them, you probably still gonna get arrested or whatever. Because that's just the world we live in right now. They just don't they want everybody in camps so we can all be fucking tracked and chipped and we can all be taxed and there is no fucking flying between the lines. Do you understand? And it has happened in this country before. John Steinbeck. You heard that name before? Go look it up. John Steinbeck. He wrote a book called The Grapes of Wrath. It's about off grid Californians that move into their trucks by the family load and travel through California to state-run farm to state-run farm to get vouchers, picking strawberries and produce in order to get a voucher to stay at the fucking farm camp, right? Or to get this fucking food thing. And they'll whole family, dude, of rednecks. There's a black and white movie about it too, starring Henry Fonda. Russia also used this movie as a fucking teaching tool to show the failures of capitalism, but it backfired in their face because every Russian citizen was like, "Holy shit. So you're telling me that even as a failed system, these people still ended up with trucks and can drive around off grid with the freedom?" And they're like, "Oh, oops. So even at its failed point, capitalism's better than communism." But they try to use that as an example. And you're definitely, they just said that we are in depression. Worse, like worse, dude. But they're not advertising it because they don't want people to fucking panic. And the only reason you're seeing any stimulation in the economy is because we just had Christmas. It's the biggest transaction time of the year. I'm telling you, it's headed for fucked, dude. And you're not going to be able to heat your house. You're not going to be able to fucking go out and collect firewood. You're not going to be able to do anything. And when you say, well, what am I supposed to do? They're going to go, hey, we got a camp for you right here, man. Right? Like they did in the 20s and the 30s. And then they did it again to my fucking stepdad, who's Japanese, born in America in Azusa, California, and they had to go out to a camp in Bakersfield because that's what was happening. So if you think that this is a fucking well, people that lived through the Great Depression are all dead. I have one customer. She's 97 years old. She doesn't use a walker or nothing. She's sharp, and I've spent long periods of time talking to her because she also used to run an Indian school. Okay, this lady is a fucking gem, white lady, right? Well, she gave her a lot of her money, dude, and resources to help Native American kids, dude, abandoned Native American kids. But anyway, she was telling me about the Great Depression, and she said that it was a time that was so shitty and so fucked that even the clothing and the day-to-day stuff reflected that you didn't want anybody to know that you had a penny, dude, or even a nickel. And I was watching this fashion show the other day. It's the upper echelon of shit, and they all look like homeless people. Everything is black and dumpy and baggy, and you know what I mean? It's all fucking dumpy shit that's meant to like blend in, dude, with this fucking shitstorm that's coming, right? Give the appearance that you don't have anything, right? You know what I mean? It's just a shitty old fucking nasty jumpsuit. They even throw purple paint on it, dude. It's unbelievable. They were talking about it on No Jumper the other day. Guys like, I can't believe that I spent $140 on paint splattered jeans. You know what I mean? And like the only reason, like he's like, I don't. It's kind of cool because I could just like not give a fuck anymore, just go do yard work and fucking clean up fucking shit, and that doesn't matter. But it's like that's where we're at, dude. Fashion reflects. Told you guys I'm a humanitarian. That's humanities. The study of the humanities is the study of how people felt at a certain specific point in time based on their art, their architecture, the mathematics, everything, every single thing. And if you look at the Age of Reason, every single thing that was going on, every painting, right? Take the Renaissance, for example. Everything that was going on had the same message. And you'd be like, how can mathematics have a message? Well, guess what? They didn't have the concept of zero and negative numbers before the Renaissance. That's one of the things that marked a new age. Now all of a sudden you have a what's called a vanishing point, which is zero. And every like when you're looking at paintings, they all of a sudden they go like that. It'd be a road that goes into a distance, into a vanishing point. And that's a reflection of the concept of zero and negativity and positivity and infinity. And that didn't exist in art before the Renaissance. Before that, everything was flat, 2D. Nobody ever did a vanishing point. It never happened, dude. That's why that time period got named and got famous, and it tells you that people, their minds were expanding. They had resources, they had, things were good, because you weren't worried about the time before that. Was the opposite, the dark ages. Everything reflected a lot of walls. Every architecture, everything was walled and everything was angled so that you could shoot around corners and defend through windows. It told you that it was a very dark era, very, there was no concept of zero or negative numbers. There was no concept of infinity. You know what I mean? There's a lot of shit, dude, a lot of crazy, crazy shit. Well, the fucking things we're going through now reflect the attitude and the times that we're living in, which is horror, depression, not having, like, whatever, I don't know, you know what I mean, like we got to like let it play out to see. But so far, fashion, movies, what are the movies? Look at the kids, all the kids stuff, dude, became teddy bears and animatronics that came alive and eat children and take over their fucking bodies and minds. That is telling you that's how kids feel, dude. That's why they're into that and buying it, because they feel that they're being trapped and murdered inside of this fucking robotic device. And then you look at fashion, everything is like homeless chic. You know what I mean? The Balenciaga thing. Everybody's in dumpy clothes that look like homeless. Now they have bags. It's a designer bag, but it looks like a homeless fanny pack or a homeless backpack. And it even comes with designer plastic bags. Like now they're carrying them in like grocery bags, because that's what homeless people or poor people do. So it's all about blending in with homeless people or poor people, or giving the impression that you don't have anything. That's literally what Mrs. Loker described to me during the Great Depression. So if I was to look at it from a humanitarian point of view, let's look at the art, the architecture, the stories, the movies, the fashion, and that's going to tell us exactly how these people feel and what's going on. And right now, it's saying that nobody's given the appearance that anybody has anything, like during the Great Depression. And the reason for that is because they'll jump on you for a dime, bro, and they'll tear your ass up. You know what I mean? I'll chew your fingers off for $300 worth of gold, man, that you wearing. You think I give a fuck about you? Like I might like Shonda, T Terrible, Cuckoo's Nest. Like there's lots of others, dude. Right? That I would like, I would do that for. But yeah, Steinbeck, Shanda. I could be wrong, uh, because there was also a fucking book. If I'm mixing them up, it could also be John Steinbeck. Might have wrote both of these, but that movie about the guy, the retarded guy that kills a rabbit, and it was so famous it became an archetypal stereotype character, even in Looney Tunes cartoons. The big retarded guy that follows you know, his buddy around and goes, "Hey, hey, George, what are we gonna do today?" He doesn't know how to control his voice level. He's always screaming. We're like, "Shut up, you fucking idiot! You want to get us kicked out again?" Right? That was also during the Great Depression, and he wanted to pet the puppies, but he wasn't supposed to be in there with the puppies. They told him, "Stay out of there." What are you taking advantage of this man? What are you doing with him? No, he needs me, man. He wouldn't. Well, keep him out of the puppies. You taking his money, his paycheck? What's the deal with you two? He's like, oh, we ain't got nobody but each other, man. He'd be dead without me. Well, keep him out of the puppies. Well, he snuck in there. I just want to pet the puppy. I want to grab you and hold you and pet your neck. See, that's a stereotype. That comes from John Steinbeck. All those people in the Looney Tunes and stuff, they copying the real originator. And the puppy started barking. No, 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 be quiet. The man gonna get mad and then I can't pet you anymore. Be quiet. Shh, stop, stop. Oh, see? He stopped making noise, George. He listened to me. Like that's because you smothered it to death, you retarded son of a bitch. So they just hide the puppies and just go, fuck, dude, you're gonna get us kicked out of another camp, bro. Fuck. Well, they're working one day, and the owner of the farm had a little pretty little fucking Pollyanna daughter with the fucking golden fucking curls like Shirley Temple and shit. Probably the little dress too. And she was playing in the cornfield. And George said, "Hey, you have such pretty hair. Oh, that's so nice. Let me pet it. You like the puppy?" She said, "Ow! Get away from me!" "Oh, no, no, don't scream. They're going to be mad at me. I don't want George to be. No, no, no. Ah, get away! No, no, no. Come here, like the puppy." And he fucking smothered her, dude. "Oh, see, she's quiet now. That's better. You gotta be quiet like that. I don't know. Now she's taking a nap." Right? And then somebody found him and be like, "Hey, man." And then the whole camp was like, "Fuck, you're a retard, dude. We're gonna hang that motherfucker from a tree." And that was it, man. You know what I mean? And then they found him, dude, all scared and shit. I think with the dead one of the dead puppies. And they fucking and that's when George was like, "Dude, let me do it." And the whole fucking time in the book, whenever things got fucked up, he calmed him down by telling him about their dream, this dream farm that they were gonna fucking have one day. And so the guy gave him, he's like, "All right, don't do, if you do any funny business or anything, we're going to fucking jump on you." And he's like, "All right." And he just went over and told George, "Look, man, if you look over there, you could see our farm, our dream." And then he's like, fucking capped him, dog. And he was like describing it to him and he fucking capped him. And then he was free. It was like, "You're free, bro. You don't have to fucking, like, you don't have that fucking burden anymore." Right? Genius, dude. Genius. John Steinbeck. But I'm pretty sure he wrote The Grapes of Wrath also, which was an Academy Award winner. I think Henry Fonda won an Academy Award. And that's what it's about, man. It's about people living in their trucks in California and during the Great Depression. And apparently, they don't teach you this in the history books because they don't want you to know, dude. But everything was shut down. And if you didn't have anything, you had to go to a fucking work camp. And that was it, dude. These weren't Mexicans. These weren't fucking illegal immigrants. These were nothing, dude. And you know what? Here's another thing. All that shit that they're showing at the border is real, dude. Every day I'm seeing 50 to 100 people in one spot. And 100 feet down, there'll be another 50, 100 people with small children and stuff. And I'm saying, like, wow, they are literally, they know which gate to get to. They go congregate at a door, dude, a made fucking door, and they just wait. And the Border Patrol has those tinfoil blankets and an igloo with water there. So they're expecting them, dude, and they're bringing them in. Do you know why? And like, they don't care that people are like, there has to be something done. They're doing it on purpose, dude, because nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work for nothing, especially if you have a place to stay already and you have some family or something. Why would you waste your time working, right? The only reason people do that is because they're chasing a dream, a pipe dream, but they don't tell you it's a pipe dream, right? Even when you get your place, bro, you have to have the resources to pay $5 or $6,000 a year in property tax every year. They don't care if you're retired, if your old lady died, or this happened. Like, you got to pay, and if so many times you don't, so you don't ever really own it, dude. You're just locked in to a system of servitude and taxation. And so, why would you fucking why would you do that? And then nowadays you don't even get that. People figured it out. Like, you're just doing it just to pay taxes. You know what I mean? And so immigrants though don't have any resources. They don't have family. They don't have an established fucking clan or property or any businesses yet. There's definitely a language barrier that you're going to have to master before you can even think about any of that other shit. And those people have no choice but to, like, shoot for the stars and believe that. And they are willing to sleep 10 in a fucking one bedroom to achieve that dream. And if they're a family unit, they do put all back into the resource to figure it out just to show up at Pizza Hut, dog. And we need that right now. Unless you want to pay $27 for a piece of pizza, and things are so fucked up now. Could you imagine if we did that? So they have to bring these people in. Plus, there's another reason, bro. It's called genetics. And you can only modify genetics so much before you have to go get an outside source. And I know this because I've been growing sunflowers as a hobby for many years and corn. And you cannot find a non-GMO source of either of those two. It's getting more harder and more harder. And every year, the people that I know what the fuck they're doing, that I mean, people that I know what the fuck they're doing, and I follow their lead, and they're going to South America because that's the only source on the world. Because the pollen, a genetically modified plant, was gonna blow its pollen in the air, dude. And even if you don't want to genetically modify the other plants, nature is going to do that for itself. So it's impossible to find non-GMO shit except South America. So that's why they're bringing people from Honduras, El Salvador, fucking what's the other one? Honduras, because they're non-GMO people, and they're selling their land off for pennies on dollar, which happens to be in the bug out spot, the only spot on Earth that the current wind patterns would keep safe if a complete nuclear fallout happened. So it makes sense, dude. It serves two purposes. I'll buy your land and I'll give you money and a map and set you off in the right direction. And then as that kind of snowballs, I can send my news crews to cover it. Now it looks like something. Now more people are jumping on the bandwagon, and you're killing two birds with one stone. You're bringing in workers for areas where people don't want to work anymore. You're bringing in non genetically modified genes, okay? And you're swapping out their land for your land. Like you can use that land for your bug out spot now, and they are going to go stay on your land and serve you and pay you fucking taxes. It's a beautifully evil schemed fucking plan. And that's the only explanation, bro. I couldn't go hop across the border. I could be late for work, dude. I'm a US citizen. I have the right to do whatever the fuck I want, especially if I'm swimming in the ocean or driving a boat or anything like that. But I can't, dude, because I don't have the manifest. I don't have the fucking all the requirements by the law to travel freely, like in the world. Like that doesn't make no sense. But yet that's how they do it, and I would get charged. I don't know if it's a felony, but it's definitely a charge. Illegal entering the United States through a non legal port of entry. So, but yet these people do it, and they're doing it, and they're not having any fucking repercussions at all. So it leads me to believe that you, because I see you do have the power. You stop me all the time, so you can do it, but you're choosing not to. There's a reason for that. What's the reason? The reason is they want the non-GMO genes, and those non-GMO genes are also willing to work for nothing and live 50 in a house and do the jobs that everybody else won't do because they don't need a place to live and they don't need, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Everybody, like, especially people that went off grid and like raise hogs and chickens and, you know what I mean? Plants and stuff. Even though you still go to the stove, I bet you what you're going to the stove for is a lot less. And if you had to cut those things out, you just cut them out, bro. All the zooms and wham whams are gone, and we're just eating fucking hog steaks and fucking, you know what I mean? And corn mash, right? And then how about the people, dude? I'm in a neighborhood right now. There's no water anywhere near. If everything's shut off, these people would be fucked, dude. And most of them have type 2 diabetes or some kind of fucking weight issue where they're definitely not going to go walk 8 miles right now, dude. You have no choice. You walk 8 miles and get the fuck out of this area before the fucking contamination or you're done. You can't do it, dude. It's just like me almost dying in the ocean. I just didn't have what it takes anymore. You know what I mean? Or I got to like build up to it. And that's fact, dude. And it's real easy to think of things in your mind. Well, if I'm on a slave ship, I'll just jump off of it. As long as I can see land, I'll just float on my back and go, okay. Then how come you almost died fucking surfing the other day? You know what I mean? Things don't work out, dude, how you think. There's a lot more to it. It's a lot more fucked. And I'm telling you, even those motherfuckers that think they have an off grid farm and all that shit, no prepper. How you gonna be a prepper, homie, but you got type 2 diabetes? Where the fuck you gonna get that dealt with? Nigga, you in the motherfucking hospital for dialysis once a month, but you gonna where you gonna get your dialysis, sucker? You ain't got no dialysis machine down there, or you ain't got no none, bro. You almost died by you stepped on a nail, a rusty nail, and almost fucking died. Like, I mean, I don't care how much corn you have fucking stashed, homie. It ain't gonna do you fucking dick, huh? How about no and you're going through a nicotine fit while all this is happening, dude, and this stress, elevated stress level and all that. And you're having a nicotine fit. Where are you gonna get it? It's funny to me how nicotine and alcohol occur naturally and can be made by any man, and it is a coveted thing. People always want something to drink. They always want something to smoke. And though I look at colonial shit from colonial America, and everybody had a fuck ton of tobacco. You go look at the old Daniel Boone shows, and they're trying to be historically accurate. Everybody had tobacco hanging on the walls. You know that why that was? And hemp, and the hemp clause in the Constitution, and the Constitution being written on hemp paper. You know why? Because they figured that any American person could be struggling in poverty, but yet if they had tobacco, alcohol, or hemp, something that they could make because it occurs naturally, and they can sell or trade that for things that they needed. And that's in the Constitution, but they took that part out, and you don't hear about that. And they formed a bureau that only deals with what? Alcohol and tobacco and firearms, of course. But I mean, like, okay, the firearms I could understand, but alcohol and tobacco, something that is naturally occurring, that is highly desirable by people, and every colonial American had it as a safeguard against poverty, and you eliminate that. No, you're not allowed to grow. You could grow tobacco, but you are not allowed to sell it or trade it under any circumstances. That is a federal crime, dude. If you just go buy, I know somebody that went to prison for buying cigarettes in Nevada and driving them into California because the price was like $2 less or something, or $4 less because of the tax. And as soon as they crossed the state lines, dude, they were arrested, federal charge, and they ended up having to go to prison for it, dude. It's not, and same thing with like beds. There's like mattresses or something. That's why they say don't take the tag off the mattresses. They even regulate that. He got busted for taking mattresses from Nevada to California, dude, because they were going to resell them and make money, meaning because they were cheaper over there. So I'm just saying, like, don't tell me that this is a conspiracy theory or a fantasy. This is fact. You are regulated against anything that could make you a profit. Because if you don't have those things, you're forced to go out and work a poo butt job or something. It's not because, like, I worked a poo butt job feeding a chipper for years because I wanted to learn how to be a tree guy. And it didn't make anything that I said any less true. I was choosing to sell my booty to somebody in order for the knowledge that they had, and it worked out. But I'm talking about people that get stuck in that rut because it was hard for me to come out. And I did meet people that were like, dude, you have to do this for yourself. There's no reason you should be trimming trees for somebody else. Yeah, Johnny Cochran. Facts, bro. They were put on this planet to use, but people can have learned how to legislate against things that make us money and legislate them or officiate a system that makes it so that everybody has to pay a tax, even if it's a penny, dude. Or what about food? So here's two things that this country knowingly won't tax: food and religion, right? Any kind of any kind of religious organization is tax exempt, and any kind of food is it's because we know that inherently that's wrong to tax people on something that they have to do. And still to this day, right? We don't charge tax on food. But you know that's an American thing, right? You know that that whole idea of tax is American, like, and people from other countries do trip the fuck out big time on that because it is very insulting to have a price on something and then you get to the counter and it's not a little bit. It started out a little bit more, you know, 4 cents on the dollar, 3 cents on the dollar, whatever, but it ain't no mo. Now it's a lot, and you're like, what? It was $13. How? What do you mean 17.27? What? Huh? It said $13. Oh yeah, but there's tax and a sales tax, state sales tax, and then state sales tax, tax. What? Fuel recovery tax. And you're like, huh? So that's just it, bro. You know what I mean? I'm glad there's guys like you, Johnny Cockring, for real, dude. Because these hoes need to be put in check. That's the first fucking thing that needs to happen. And that half the problems that we're having is because these women, and it was probably done on purpose too, to all make us stop making babies, less population, even though where's your tax money going to come from? You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of weird shit, but like it's definitely that fucking like they definitely are wearing pants that are they are too big for their britches. And Afghanistan is a great example of that. Right now, the Taliban's taking away women's rights. And who are the women calling on to help them secure feminism and women's rights? Who? They're calling on men. I mean, that right there shows you that the whole fucking concept of women's rights is fucking shit. Like human rights, yes, but there's no one should be treated any different than the other based on gender. All you've done is given these people a false sense of really of pride and accomplishment when you even said yourself the whole argument came out that women are not paid the same. Well, why did that come out? Because they're trying to assert their independence and they get out there and they don't need a man and then they figure like, well, we don't even get paid that much because you can't lift as much. I know, man. I have women all the time. I want to work in a tree crew. I'm like, okay. I mean, I have kids, so why not? I mean, I have kids come and work, so why not? And they work hard and they listen, but they're not picking up, dude, not nearly as much as any of the men. And it's getting done faster and more efficient with less having to ask for help or problems. That's why. And that's not the system's fault, that's nature. The system is trying to teach women that that's not how it is, that they can go out. And that's not true unless you make yourself worth, like what I was talking about earlier. Now, if you go to school and get a triple PhD, you speak 5 languages, you know how to code, I know how to do this, do that, you're worth a lot. You might probably make more than a man, but that's not what they're teaching you. That's not what they're telling you. And it's not, it's easier to say that shit than to actually go do the fucking work. When you sit down and do the work, man, and you're learning the chords and chord progression, and you know what I'm saying? Or you're just going to give up. And it's like, ah, no, dude, it's hard. Playing the guitar is hard. Standing there and looking cool is easy. Fantasizing about it, you know what I mean? Touting yourself as a rock star is easy. Actually doing the work and mastering the guitar is very hard. And that's why you see a lot of people like even Robert Plant and stuff. They come out strong, but then they kind of disappear. And then you're like, well, Ozzy, why are you using this guy? And they'll tell you straight out, he just ain't no good no more. He didn't practice. He didn't advance. You know what I mean? They didn't have a double bass pedal back then. You know what I mean? But it came out and everybody else got onto it and learned it and shit. But this motherfucker stayed back in the old days and rode on his laurels, and it just don't happen. Now they want you to show up and perform right now. It ain't working, dog. And that's very common. That's why you see people fall off because they just don't want to do the work, or it's exhausting. You did the work and now, okay, been there, done that, we're done. You know what I mean? Shonda, what if they make that possible? I mean, if they make that possible, they probably, I mean, what if you transplanted a placenta? But then what's it going to do? Come out of your butt? You know what I mean? Like you have to fucking I don't know, man. It's weird. They're definitely making babies because I see it. You see, one celebrity will have five fucking clones. And you know why that is, right? Because they want the fucking organs. It's for future use, dude. Somewhere there is a warehouse with extremely rich people that have clones that are just their only purpose is going to be for fucking harvesting organs and or blood. How many people think Brittany Griner's a chick? Brittany Griner is 100% a dude that did gender reassignment. And the law is, and especially the current administration, because I've heard that chick say it, the black chick with the curly hair that speaks for the fucking president, that these people are human beings. There, she's like, Brittany Grimer's a human being. She's an American. And they even wrote a book about it. And the Afghans were laughing at the book when they took over our military base over there. And they were putting in that look, being like, look, dude, look, because they do have instructions for people that are transitioning. So they absolutely believe that once you transition, that it's extremely disrespectful to refer to you as the other gender. So that's why they call Brittany Griner she and her and all that, and let her into the WNBA because it's not exciting. And and you know what I mean? And you can't fucking say that to people, dude. And then Brittany Griner, you can't go further, but you could. Do you want to go sit on a bench as a fourth stringer and make $36,000 a year working for the New Jersey Nets, or do you want to go be the star of the WNBA and we'll start you out at $160,000 a year? There's pictures of Brittany Griner before he transitioned. It's a dude, man. And there are no breast removal scars. There's pictures of Brittany Griner. We know any chick that did that, you're gonna have scars of when you had your breast removed. And here's the other thing: he's with a chick. He's got a wife. That's his wife. He's not like. Shouldn't a chick be attracted to a dude? I mean, I understand there's a lot of lesbians in the WNBA, but Brittany Griner is a dude. Was a dude. You're not anymore, but he was a dude. He started out as a dude. You know, one of the Bond girls was a dude that actually had a full sex change operation. It didn't come out till years later. I think they made the movie in the 60s or 70s and it came out in the 80s. And then Playboy said, hey, we'll do a full thing. And she was a Playboy of the Month model and has the hips, titties, a pussy with a hole, all that shit. But it was a dude that had a full on sex change operation and nobody knew about it. And she got famous enough to fucking become a Bond girl. That's facts. You can go look that up. So it does happen, dude. Yeah, that's right. Women don't dunk. I mean, some of them do, real tall ones and shit. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. But I don't know. I don't know what the dynamics are. But I know because I've seen pictures and it came out and Russia was the first one. They were like, this is a dude, man, that hasn't had no sex change operation. Still has a wiener, but they don't show that because this person identifies as a chick and you have to respect that, dude. You have to call him a chick. and they're so progressive and so like up here while the rest of us are down here that you know what I mean? They'll they'll take it all the way to the to the fucking net, bro, like as they say. And I'm not saying one way or another. If somebody feels like something and then they live like something else, that's a horrible way to live. You got to be who you are. If that's who you are, you know, I wouldn't mutilate myself because to me that's going too far. Nobody ever fucking I don't know. It just seems to me like it's just what you're attracted to, dude. You know what you're attracted to or you don't immediately. If you have to think about it or talk yourself into it or you're you know what I mean? You're not doing it because of attraction, you're doing it because of a need like Febster, right? I don't understand why that motherfucker doesn't like he already has titties. All you got to do is just identify as a broad. You could become the and then you go beat the shit out of fucking Ronda fucking Ronda Rousey, bro, and like you be the mixed martial arts chick champion. I mean, like you know what I mean? How about chicks competing in man sports? If feminism is real and women and men are equal, then how come there's no women that transition and play in men's sports? Or how come there's no women armies that are strong enough to go defend the women of Afghanistan against men taking their rights away or not letting them go to university or right? Or when they're gang raping you, who are you going to run to, dude? I guarantee it's going to be a man cop. That's it, bro. I think everything's like starting to work out. I hope everybody's yeah, it just goes to show you the insanity, dude. But let me tell you something. Historically, Russia has a scorched earth policy. If the Allied, every war they've ever been in, everything throughout their history is they torch their whole place. Even when they've had foreign invaders in the past, they have a scorched earth policy. That's why their city exists mostly underground because they will destroy everything on top. And anybody that's in agriculture knows that that actually is better for your farmland. You just have to disappear for a year or two. So they burn everything and there's nothing left for the invaders and then they go back to life as normal. That is historically how that place has been since the beginning of time, and you could see it everywhere in World War One, everywhere up until World War Two. But that's because they were fucking winning. They had us in England, and they were sandwiching Berlin. But if they would have been getting their asses kicked, believe me, they would have retreated back into Russia and scorched the earth behind them. And I'm telling you, I've heard Putin say this, dude, that like we're wilding, dude. We, meaning the US, we've been wilding for some time. We, since World War II, when we stead it up so that everybody has to fucking pay Big Daddy. And rightfully so, because we kicked their ass and they fucked everybody up, including us, that we had to get involved. So fuck you, that's your ass. Now you're gonna pay us forever. And fucking that's what he's bitching about. And they want to see the fucking scorch earth, dude. Like, if we can't have it, or if these motherfuckers have to have it and everybody else has to eat shit, then nobody's gonna have it. Scorch the earth behind us as we retreat. to our underground fucking sanctuary like we have since the dawn of time. Since they did that to fucking bro, they did that. The Bolsheviks did that when they switched it over from imperial emperors to communism. Go look it up, dog. It's all fucking yeah. It grows back greener, so they are not tripping. But for you, the invader, you're fucked because now you just what? You just create a supply chain into burnt shit that you can't be on for a year or two, right? And if it's nuclear, then it's even more than that. And it makes sense, dude. If I can't have it, then nobody. I would if a bully come after me, bro. I'm not gonna. I'll kill myself before I fucking let you have anything. That's just how I am, dude. Right? And if it doesn't start out that way, it will graduate to that. You're only going to be bullied for so long before you eventually are like, you know what? Nah, it's not even worth it anymore. And those people are not some fucking crazy drug induced loudmouth fucking idiot that grew up in fucking comfort and security just wandering the earth their whole fucking life. Okay? These are hardened, seasoned people that did have their fucking parents there and they were ingrained with this shit, dude, and they have the resources and the backing because they were riding on the shoulders of the fucking grandparents and the parents before them and them and them and so forth. And they haven't had any fucking losses, dude. They haven't taken an L in a long fucking time. Okay, when the fucking Berlin Wall came down, that wasn't an L, dude. That was them opening the doors to even more wealth and prosperity that the Iron Curtain had was keeping out for a long time. So they haven't had nothing fucked up, dude, and they don't have anything fucked up right now. They doing what they want to do. Now, if you want to come over there like what they're saying, dude, and now they can't get a shot off. I think they fucking took down, they fired 73 missiles last night, and 62 of them got shot down with HIMARS. So it's not going to be good, bro. It seemed like they were going to quit and everything, but they're kind of, I don't know, dude. Temporary loss of resources that could last decades, but that's why he was showing his warehouses full of gold, bro. Because he was like showing them, like, no, I think I have more resources to hold out the long term than you guys do. You know what I mean? Or at least this is what he is. He's a chess player. So under normal circumstances, do I think that he had the ability to make a checkmate? No. But I think that we, because of our system and how we have the system where the baddest motherfucker doesn't get to fight his way to that position. It's actually based on people that have never made a mistake. So you actually get these really puffed up people that think they're so smart, but they don't make good decisions at all. They don't even have a fucking clue. A lot of Karens. If you tell me that fucking Janet Reno isn't the biggest Karen in the world, then you're a fucking weirdo. You know what I mean? She burned all those people knowing kids and stuff were in there because they wouldn't listen to her. That's all. That's all they were guilty of doing, dude. So this tells you how they put it. I seen Hillary Clinton bragging about killing Gaddafi the other day. She was saying it's like that's a human being, good or bad. Like you shouldn't talk openly like that. If I did, there'd be 20 videos. Oh, what a piece of shit I am and a murderous bastard. But Hillary Clinton could say it and laugh at it. And it's like, dude, there's consequences in life. This is what I've learned. And you're getting ready, dude, to pay a fucking big one. And it's not that hard. If you just lost your electricity, 75% of these people right now up under your earshot would die. You die. There's no water anywhere within miles from where all these neighborhoods are built. And 60% of the residents do not have the ability to walk miles if they had to, if their life depended on it. And what? You're going to walk miles for a drink of water? Like, guess what? You can't carry enough with you to make it back. You can't, like, the law of thermodynamics is that everything, this is the first law in physics. It's the first thing you learn. The first law of thermodynamics is that everything is in a constant state of decline. You cannot use energy to make more energy. that's greater than the energy you started with. It's always going to be significantly less energy. You can use energy to make more energy, but that energy you're going to make is significantly less than the energy you use to fucking create it. That's a fact. That's why perpetual motion doesn't exist. Like you can make a perpetual motion machine work on a desktop and sit there and go because it's doing nothing. If it had to pull a payload of any kind, it would stop working. It wouldn't work. Okay. And now you say, well, what? That doesn't make sense. Why would you use energy to make energy if you can't make more energy? Well, because we find things that are really small that make a lot of energy, right? Like a river, and you're not getting any of that energy. It's just going with the flow of the earth. But you harnessed it with a wheel or a paddle wheel or some kind of fucking magnetic turbine, something that creates something you can use, like electricity. But that of electricity that you're creating will never be greater than the flow, the push. Like in other words, you can't use that electricity to make as much pressure as that river is. Never, dude. It's impossible. It's the first law of thermodynamics. So just like the reason why that your electric car can't make more electricity as it's recharge its own batteries as it's driving down the street. If you were going down a hill for 2 hours and had it shut off, that'll charge up a little bit. But as you're driving, your generator is not going to make enough juice to recharge your shit. That's why you always have to charge it. It's called the first law of thermodynamics. Every single form of energy is in a constant state of decline. So you can never make more energy than you were starting out with. You can make more energy, but it's going to be less. Like if I'm taking 200 volts, I can make 180 volts out of it, that you could use. Well, I can't make 220 or 250 or 300 volts. You can never make more energy than the amount you're using to make energy. I don't know. It's hard to explain, I guess, but just look it up, dude. The first law of thermodynamics. So everything's in a constant state of decline, including your body, yourself, nature. That's why we die. That's why you get old and die. You're literally walking out the first law of thermodynamics every day of your life. And we have allowed ourselves to get into a position because, dude, these houses in the middle of the desert sell for $300,000. People don't think about if it's close to a water source or if it's ever going to shut off. You know what I mean? Like that water comes from Northern California and feeds the LA basin. They made movies about it with Jack Nicholson and everything. It is a big deal. And it is like a lot of treachery and fucking shit because you're dealing with lives and taxation of people and what you're telling people is going on and what's really going on are two different things. And then control, whoever controls that controls everything. And control is not something that people give up freely and easily. So I'm just saying, this is the world you live in. You got to think about this shit. So Russia thinks about this. Vladimir Putin thinks about it. And so he didn't have the ability to make a checkmate. But because of our own stupidity, we're like, we're not going to let the baddest fish get to the spot. We're going to let the ones who have never gotten caught making any mistakes get to the spot. And I don't know about you, but the only way I learn is by making mistakes. That's most people. If you haven't made any mistakes, you're usually the biggest Karen. These Karens that you see, they're usually from very pampered lives, very protected, very, very closed in. And that's where they get this sense, this false sense of, you know, higher than others, or this false sense of what's going on, or control. And those people in positions of authority, you see it all the time, dude. And Vladimir Putin noticed, hey, you know what? I think the US has gotten himself into a position where we could fucking do a checkmate because these motherfuckers, the baddest motherfucker isn't at the top over there. It's the biggest fucking Momo. The biggest fucking Momo made it to the top. And they don't have a clue. They're just worrying about their greedy little fucking nickel and dime service, dude. You know what I mean? Well, they did sell all these homes out here, hundreds of miles away from any kind of fucking drinkable water, not even a dirty fucking puddle, dude. And Vladimir Putin noticed that. Some people notice that and go, hey, they got themselves in a very vulnerable position. They noticed that back when we started fighting with each other and you saw those Antifa people, or it didn't matter what side you were on. There was always these random people with their full face covered, but they all had these bright green, flat brimmed hats. And they just looked at a place like, oh, look at this motherfucker. And there's a pile of rocks ready to go that somebody put out the night before. Like that's them, dude. That's them. They noticed, hey man, these guys have allowed them to get themselves into a checkmateable position. If they just seized enough fentanyl to kill every American, why don't you go dump that bag in the fucking reservoir? Well, why don't you just fucking. I've seen crop dusters that fly below the radar. How come you didn't see the guy on radar? Oh, they're flying too low. It's like you can't. Bro, they fly over your house every day, putting those seeds in the sky. You know who's doing that? It's not America. It's the United Arab Emirates. Go look it up. It's not me, dude. It's not a conspiracy. You can go look this up on Google. It's a capital U for United, capital A for Arab, and capital E for Emirates. It's a country that has more oil than anybody else in the world. You know what they use to get high up in the stratosphere at 100,000 feet where those chemtrails are? That's not a theory. When you look at that thing, that tiny plane, that's 100,000 feet. Nobody flies that high. It is not only is it extremely costly to fly that high, but the jet fuel is highly refined. So you don't just have access to oil, but you have to have access to a lot of oil because it's highly refined. It burns up like that. And I'll give you another one, even better than that. You have to have a fucking plane that all that shit leaks like a water hose on the ground at zero pressure because when it goes up to 100,000 feet worth of pressure, it's sealed like a fucking tight, tightest capsule, bro, and doesn't leak a drop. So these are pressurized vehicles. If you took just a regular plane up to 100,000 feet, all your fucking fluid, every gasket would just explode. So you have to be a very specific type of player in order to engage in this. And it's the United Arab Emirates. And they have a website called United Arab Emirates, capital UAE. They're a country. They play in FIFA soccer games. Like they're legit, dude. That's who Biden just went and sucked his fucking dick for oil. And those are the ones they advertise on their website. We don't create weather, we just enhance it. It says right there. And anybody can pay them. The state of California can say, hey man, we're in a drought. We want this much precipitation. We can guarantee you 3 inches of rain in a 1.5 month period, for $17.2 billion. Like, okay, do it. You know what I mean? Well, you're going to lose all of if we don't do it, you're going to lose all of your almonds, which is a $27 billion a year industry in California. California is one of the biggest economies in the world out of all countries in the world. I think it's ranked number 5 or number 7. It bounces back and forth. It's definitely in the top 10, dude. We're not even fucking. So they have that kind of money, dude. They don't want their almonds to die, or they don't want their fucking citrus crop to fail. You know what I mean? Or you don't even know what they're doing on the pig farming tip. Like this is so fucking like abstractly bigger than you could ever conceive in a million thousand years. And the little nickel and dime 100,000, let's just say you make $200,000 a year. That is dick. That is dick piss to them. you're insignificant. You're not worth fucking spit. And if they have to fucking scorch the earth because we allowed ourselves to be controlled by fucking momos that dictate and every and punish every mistake we do, but they themselves have never made a mistake, right? Or never been caught for making a mistake. It's like you're in for a checkmate, bro. And I've seen these people. I've heard them. I've seen this one guy gritting his teeth, and he's like, he was talking about Afghanistan. They were asking him, "What's the problem? How come we can't do it?" And it's like this guy doesn't come from there. He has nothing to do with it. But just because this is his job and he's a fucking huge Karen, he's gritting his teeth. He's going, it's because these are natural, rural people that live a very natural existence, like farming and community. And they just don't get the bigger picture. And they have to be pounded over here. And then I'm like, looking at this guy going, Jesus fucking Christ, bro. You're just some 27-year-old dickhead whose parents had enough money for Cambridge, and now you're gritting your teeth and pissed off because these people don't want to fucking answer you. They got to walk 7 miles with a fucking cow. I mean, like, this is how they're living, right? And they're happy to do it because, fields of fucking poppies. But we have an opioid crisis in this country. We need that shit. And you guys are doing this and that. I mean, it's just, if that's what's been happening, dude. And then you're run by such fucking Karens that you let that go on for 20 something years and then you just go, oh, let's just leave. Fuck it, let's just leave because these people have no clue, dude. They're fucking clueless. They've never made a mistake in their life. You have to make them. Now, that was a mistake. And I bet you learned from it too. See how that works? But to get in that position, you can't never ever make a mistake, dude. You want to be the police, you can never make a mistake. So that's why they're fucking having a hard time because you're clueless, dude, over what you're dealing with. Well, you think the guy that's straight as an arrow is a fucking drug dealer, and you think that the fucking drug dealer is as straight as an arrow. I see it all the time. I see it every day, actually. And it's crazy, dude. Like, I mean, hey, you ain't ever gonna tell me nothing, though, homie. As a motherfucking, yeah, they could dude, po- they could contaminate water sources. They just said they seized enough fentanyl to kill every American, and it was like the size of a pillow sack. And there was like 500 people chimed in on the comments. I saw like, why don't you just fucking shoot that in the air? They could have crop dusted us, or they could have poured that in the fucking water thing, or you know what I mean? You get on the subway with a blower. I seen a fucking video of an angry kid took one of those fire extinguishers in the subway and squirted on the people, man, because they were giving him a hard time. And all those people had to choke on that shit, and there was kids in there. And I'm thinking, like, wow, dude, like we're pretty fucking vulnerable, dude, and it's coming. It's never come on a professional level. Osama bin Laden was the first one to do it on a semi-professional level, and you know what? He didn't have what it takes. But I think Vladimir Putin has what it takes. If that's what he knew he was going to do and had it in his mind, and you've been planning the last 10 years that this was going to happen, because they did call it before it ever happened. They said that rascal was gonna blow it up. Hey, buddy. Yeah, look good, right? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. You too, bud. Sir. That guy is cool. That guy's a pastor of a church over here. A real cool dude. He said Pastor James just drove past. He said it looked good. That's why I wanted the front done, because people go by, dude, and I knew that was going to happen, and it's an improvement to the neighborhood. How long have you been sleeping? I don't know, but I'm glad you were sleeping. Go back to sleep, bud. Oh, yeah. I don't know, man. I'm just like, we're for sure all going to camps. And you know why I know that, man? Because somebody told me that. That's a known prophet. and everything they say comes true. And they don't do any drugs or anything, and people look to them, dude, and they lead a church. That guy knows them. In fact, hold on a minute. He's said some stuff that came to pass. But it was Alex's little old Mexican grandmother out of nowhere, dude. 15 years ago when we first got married, she goes, "Look, when they come to put you guys in the camps and you and Alex get separated, don't worry. It's for your best interest. They know what they're doing, and you guys are going to get put in back together. Don't fucking make it worse." And I was like, whoa, that's kind of a random thing to say to somebody, weird old Mexican lady, weird old Catholic Mexican lady. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Like, I'm just like, that's always kind of been in the back of my mind. And like, just as I'm looking at the world around me and what's going on, and the fact that that happened during the 1930s, and John Steinbeck wrote about it, didn't happen for everybody. It's just the poor people. If you're just if you're a poor dude, then you're going to a camp, right? Because rich people can hold up in their houses and even die in there, and nobody would know. Like when your shit runs out, and you just die in your recliner, and you know what I mean, or shoot yourself or whatever. Like, you know what I mean. It's the poor people are the ones that are wandering around and like, oh my god, look, and they have the tenacity and the physical capability to be able to do that, because you don't live long as poor. If you're physically got an ailment of some kind, you die quick. So that's always how it is. Poor people go out wandering around and trying to look for resources while everybody else is just sitting in their recliner dying, or on the side of the road dying. I read in San Diego in 19 from the 1890s until the 1920s that there was no piece of shade in San Diego that you wouldn't find the remains of a Native American that just looks like they just quietly sat down in the shade and expired. And they're untouched, you know? They have their moccasins on and their fucking pipe or whatever. And I've read that a lot of times, dude. Like just reading stuff that people wrote, like Kate Sessions or um, uh, motherfucking, I forget the guy's first name, but Mr. Presidio, um, fucking the the motherfucking the Hortons. Dang, dude, there's so many, dude. Like, and you can just read. Oh, Ted Williams, but I don't know what era Ted Williams came from. He might have been later. I think he's from the 50s, but I read a lot about him, about quail hunting in areas where you're like, what? That's like completely paved over. That's like in nowhere near a fucking hunting zone. And like, so I know he's from back in the day, but I think it might have been like the 40s or 50s, but I'm not sure. But anything you read from the turn of the century from San Diego, it was impossible. First of all, there is no shade in San Diego. All these trees are imported. If you go to a natural preserve like the Spring Valley Reservoir, there's nothing but bushes. There's no fucking shade, right? Or we'll go out to Slab City, like there's no fucking shade. The only trees are next to the canal, dude. You know what I mean? And like, so, and because that's the only shade anywhere around, if you were going to die and wanted to sit down somewhere, that's where it would be. And I've read that if you lived in San Diego at the turn of the century, you could not find shade anywhere that didn't have the remains of a Native American underneath. And I think that's the metaphor for what's going to happen if Russia decides to have a scorched earth policy. And you want to know what I think, man? You want to know the truth? I don't even think we should bomb them back. If they do that, I think we just do it. Just leave them waiting. I don't think they'll do it again. I think they'll come out and just start getting their shit together so that they can go find out what the fuck happened. But If you ever talk to them, you ask them if they you feel better now. Do you feel better now? It's either over or it's not over. If it's not over, I don't give a fuck. Go fuck yourself. If it's over and you feel better now, then okay, great, you feel better now. So let's fucking, you know what I mean? Why? What would we stand by obliterating them? I mean, all that shit's just gonna fly up in the air and circle around the globe for years and years and years, except for in the jet stream along the equator where fucking Honduras and Pinchy, what's the other one? Fucking Guatemala, right? And now they all have their little bug out spots there. So just saying, dude, you know what I mean? For me, it's cool because just like during the pandemic, I don't have to worry about rent. I don't have to worry about food. I don't have to worry about a lot of stuff, dude. Right? I got pulled over with no license, no registration. The cop didn't give a fuck. You know, like everybody just tripping right now, dude. I'm just trying, like, I haven't left the house in 3 weeks, man. And my other truck broke down, and this man has a $200 job for me to go do it, and we're all three going to do it so we can eat. Okay, guys, be careful. Take that machete away from the kid. I don't want to see him with the machete. And just walk away going like that. And I'm like, yeah, because we're in a fucking pandemic, dude, and it's real. And I think during a fucking real emergency, it'd be the same thing, unless they make it illegal to be vagrant, like during the Grapes of Wrath in the Great Depression, and uh, then you have to go to a camp, right? I don't know. You have to make a law and legislate, and there has to be a penal code that you're violating in order to, like, if you don't go to the camp, you have to, you know what I mean? Like, so a lot of it is voluntary, and a lot of it is relying on your own stupidity, ignorance, or laziness to not ask, not inquire, and just walk into there. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure they didn't take any Jews by force. In fact, I've seen footage of them getting on the fucking train with fucking suitcases and shit, handing them to the guy like, oh, always in compliance. You know us. Follow the rules. And the fucking SS guy just smacks the fucking bags and they throw them in a pile and you're looking at a pile and you're like, well, how is that gonna, that's not a baggage claim. That's a shit pile, dude. Like, you know what I mean? You don't have to take me kicking and screaming. I dare you to find footage. You can't even find me footage of one person kicking or screaming being pulled off, dude. And it's going to be the same thing here in this country. I don't know if I'm going to go to the fucking, but what's a survival technique going to do for you, dude? Hey, I can vouch for stinging nettle for you, dude. Stinging nettle is one of the most nutritious. And when you cook it in butter, you saute it, it loses all that stinging property. It can also, but this is a highly, it can also be turned into something that is the exact uh, same compound as more as codeine, but it's a highly uh, guarded secret by Native Americans, and I believe it requires some organic chemistry knowledge because there's something you have to do, dude. Um, but I take it and whip myself because I have swollen fucking, you know what I mean, hands. And anytime I find stinging nettle, I beat the shit out of my hands with it, and they fucking shrink right up, dude. This is the best anti-inflammatory known to man. And there's also a tree here in Southern California. I'll remember what it. A willow tree. All willow tree bark has acetaminophen in it. That's where it comes from. And you don't need to know organic chemistry for that. You just fucking boil the bark in some water and you have acetaminophen juice. Stinging nettle, bro, there's all kinds of stuff. I had a I had a I've seen all kinds of shit, dude. Anyway, I'm gonna end the live. They definitely they definitely Hey Waters, did you go look up UAE? Just go tell me what the website. You know what I mean? You might be all right because I think I've seen one of your videos where you guys were net fishing. So you'd probably be all right. But Vladimir Putin seems to think that if they can get one bomb into the Yellowstone region that feeds all the fucking rivers that run this country, like the Missouri River, the Mississippi River, I think the Snake River, the Colorado River, the Rocky Mountains, all of that shit, dude, gets trickled on from fucking Yellowstone. And if they fucking nuked Yellowstone, there wouldn't be any fresh water or any non-contaminated anything here. I don't know why. Oh, because our silos are there too. All of our nuclear silos are there. So that's why. Not only would it contaminate everything, but it'd probably do a chain reaction. But it's good for everybody that's on the coasts because that's where the majority of our, more than 90% of our population is on the coasts, man. So it would save a lot of human lives, but what are you going to do? I mean, if you eat people, you're golden. You know what I mean? Although I wouldn't eat your fucking disgusting ass. I would starve to death before I ate your fucking fingernail. And that's probably most people. I don't even like ugly people touching my food. That's why they stick them in the fucking back, dude, at fucking restaurants. And they have that no restaurant has the fucking people right there. You know what I mean? Except for Benihana, because they only hire people that are like, not hideous and fucking have some kind of knife skills, right? All you got to do is just be not hideous. We'll teach you the knife skills. You know what I mean? But you're fucked, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody like you has to be hidden in the back, or else people are spitting up their cheeseburgers and their fucking fries. I mean, like, thank God for everybody else you did get into something that afforded you a chick bike and a little bit of property. Because if you had to fucking cook fries, the rest of us would starve to fucking death. Fuck, dude. One thing that you haven't learned from riding a chick bike is how to keep your fucking mouth closed. But you're a smartass, and I'd imagine that's why you're in the position you're in life instead of having 100 properties and a massive fucking drinking problem because you're a fucking smartass. Your parents were probably smartasses. They probably had a smartass comment for every real inquiry or hurt or pain you had growing up. So that's why you've become a fucking dickhead that doesn't even have the balls to stand firmly in one place, but jumps around like a little fucking rotten flea from place to place to place, saying one thing to one person and then another thing to the other person. And then, hey, how you doing, buddy? How's it going? You know what I mean? Dude, I would fucking choke you out, bro. Your behavior shows me that you're a bitch because anybody, even punk ass, lame, non sneaky convicts, have enough sense to respect other human beings. In fact, if you ask anybody, that's what it's about, respect. And if you don't have that, bro, which you don't, not for yourself, not for your chick, not for nothing, bro, because that's not how people act, homie. There's thousands of people on this motherfucker and nobody acts like that. So that's how I know that it's true, not just words coming out of my mouth because of the evidence. Like the Bible say, there ought to be some sort of evidence. You know what I mean? Not just you saying you fucking got this, but there's evidence to back it up. You know what I mean? And like I'm not accusing you of any of that. You have the evidence to back that up, but you have negative things to say about people. And I learned like you don't have something nice to say, you don't say anything at all. That's the basic thing your mama does tell you, dude, because it's real and you get a lot further on in life. And I don't see like for I see dilapidated rental properties. I see a chick's bike, and you've had 20 more years than I have, or than somebody that's 40 years old to get it, but still haven't got it. And I would imagine that's what's hanging you up right there, bro. So before you start using your smart ass comments to put me down or other people, bro, you need to look inside yourself and realize that you actually don't have the balls that you think you do. Because if you did, you wouldn't be saying one thing over here and then another thing over there or anything at all. I'm looking at Ravel to expand. Great. Have you ever worked on a farm job? Like, cool. You know what I mean? Like Mother Nature, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I love you to death, Mother Nature. Goddamn. Like, that's one of the first people I was like, oh, hello. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. If she said, choke that motherfucker, like, you're done, bro. And, and, and like, so just as example, no negative comments, nothing. Even when somebody's an asshole, she's even told me, homie, that sometimes I say stuff that are like, right? But you're not using that as a license to be a mean or be a fucking asshole or put somebody down. You know what I mean? Because that's who they are as people. You are not that. You're like this shriveled up little angry fucking white prune, drunken, swollen prune with the typical fucking white psychosis mental patient warning sign. The long ass yellow fingernails, the long ass yellow toenails. Like, bro, before you worry about whatever the fuck I'm talking about, homie, you need to go cut your motherfucking toenails and fingernails, nigga, for real. Like that just like a basic personal hygiene, homie. And then I've seen videos of you pickled up, homie, on the flow. So I would imagine that's really where all this stuff is coming from. But it's weird, bro, because it's bitch shit of the lowest caliber. And that has nothing to do with your sexual orientation or who you are as a person or whether you're straight or clean or a criminal or a fucking cop. Like this is like basic human decency, dude, and fucking dignity. And I feel sorry for you because it's probably the way your parents were. Or you didn't have any parents, which is sad too. And you do have all these resources and you have made some right moves in life. So to see that not advance or stymie out or just stall here, right? Or be used to put others down, it's like, well, fuck, I wouldn't give you anything either, dude, if I was the universe or God. You know what I mean? I bet you had to work for that shit hard, bro. And then because of the law of thermodynamics, it's all in a constant state of decline faster than you can make the fucking energy. Yeah, this is what I do. Squash, pumpkins. I love sunflowers. I used to do tobacco, dude, and I was like way into it, dude. Sweetgrass is my number one. Like I'm a grass grower, and it's like it has spiritual. I learned about it from a Lakota priest, man, and there's something really real there. And there's no way you could smell that shit not burning, and it doesn't make you happy or like what is that, dude? Like you know what I mean? Like it's like vanilla and like honeysuckle, vanilla, butter, cinnamon. You know what I mean? Like you smell any of those things all at the same time, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? And it's gonna make you in a happy mood. And it's hard. It's very picky, it's finicky, and that's what I grow. It grows from underground runners. So it likes a lot of water, a lot of nutrients, and you braid them. They're long, fat blades of grass that are like about 3 or 4 feet long sometimes. It's crazy. And you braid them in a thick braid, like a hair braid. And then you can light it and it'll just like stay barely lit like an incense. And it smells like it's like a cross between vanilla ice cream and apple pie, like as it's being baked, but like cinnamon sugar cookies. It's weird, man. It's a fucking trip, dude. Yeah, I got a lot of it. I'll give you some plants, Mother Nature. I'm gonna start selling those plants and growing them with grow lights. But the money situation fucked up, so I didn't get to get my grow lights. But it's all still doing really well. But that is the most valuable plant according to Google per ounce or whatever. So they use it in a lot of flavoring and shit. I smoke it, but just because it smells so good and shit that I want it inside of me, and I know what it's like spiritual purposes. It's to bring positive energy. Okay, so I when I'm burning it, yes, I try to like get it into me, but I don't like try to smoke. I've never done that, but I do put it in mostly everything that I'm cooking, and I will like extract the fucking uh juice out of it. If you know what I mean, if I don't want the grittiness of the you know what I mean, ground up grass in there, but I got some for you, dude. I'll put them aside with your name on it. Living plants, and you can put them in the mail. They grow from runners, so they're used to being separated, and they'll kind of like lay in a dormant little state and just send you a little root mass, and you just plant it, dude. Put it in the sun, give it plenty of water. Boom, you have a whole bunch of little ones pop it up before you know it, and that's it. And you know, probably it'd probably be good for you, dude. I've never thought about that. I would take a bong hit of that shit. It's probably good for you. There's all kinds of purposes in it. Well, okay, this is what most Native American spiritual practices. This is if you practice the four corners, this is what you believe. Okay, so there's four fucking herbs for every corner. Okay, and those four are white sage, sweet grass, tobacco, and then any kind of conifer like a pine or a juniper, but it's supposed to be juniper. That's the right one. But you can use any kind of conifer like a pine or a cedar. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But if you put, and now I'm going to tell you this too. So the purpose of juniper, and I know this to be fact because when you burn it, you'll see people that are negative, or just start with people in general. Somebody will go, ah, what the fuck is that? Smells like a fire. Who's burning something? Every time. Okay. That's the casting out of negative energies, the calling them to the front, identifying them, casting them out. And that's what it's doing in the spiritual. And I've seen it, man. It's always somebody, go do it, dude. And somebody will pop off like that. But nobody will ever say that when you start burning the sweetgrass immediately after. You're going to get comments like, oh my God, what the fuck is that? Damn, that smells so good. Is that cookies? What is that? And that's the Native American belief, is that one of them is lit in order to repel negative spiritual energy, because that's what smoke is. It's in the spiritual, it's flying around the air, right? It can access that shit more than like our words do too, but uh I'm pretty sure they had like songs and stuff that went with it. But um and then you light the white sage because it's a cleanser. White sage is a cleansing agent, and that's fact. That's scientific fact. It can be used to make antibacterials. The smoke does kill bacteria. That's a fact. So you juniper pushes away the negative, and then the white sage cleans the area, and then the fucking sweetgrass brings the positivity in. Now we're only filled with positivity, And the tobacco is like the okay, everything's right now. And that gets your mental spirit going. That's the four directions, dude. And if you put them all in one stick, you got to know how to do it right because some burn faster than others. I know how to do it right. I got some. I used to grow all four of those things. I'm only growing one of them right now, but I know where to get two of the other ones. And I have a lot of tobacco saved up from when I grew it because how it's grown has a lot to do with it. If you're growing it and you have negative energy and you're a bad person, that's going to come out, dude. And I've seen it. I've gotten fucking sage down in the cut where there's a bunch of fucking winos and it just didn't, it wasn't right, dude. It smelled like shit. It didn't have, it smelled like fish. Weird. So that has a lot to do with it. That's why a lot of medicine men and practitioners grow the own herbs. But that's what that shit is. But I'm always burning sweetgrass. I got it in my bag. I got it in my truck. I got it in my house. You know what I mean? And yeah, you know what, Ravel? That makes sense because I think the reason why this stuff works in the spiritual realm like it does is because it's in our DNA from doing this since the ice ages for hundreds of thousands of years. That smell is in your DNA automatically. Your brain automatically identifies it as, okay, we're about to fire some pleasure receptors. You know what I mean? or 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 okay, we need to shut down all negative neuroreceptors off. You know what I mean? Like it's true, dude. I hate to say it, but I think I'm gonna end this stream, you guys. I gotta go to work. I'm at work. I'm gonna do some stuff here. I just oh man, thank you. You damn, you made my day, man, for real. I'm just like you, dude. I'm still just doing it, just doing it by myself. I have a lot of respect for you because I haven't been doing it my whole life. This is the first time like the last 2 years. And it seems like you've been raising your kids for a long time. And that is like, whoa. It tells like what a fucking caliber of person you really are. My hat's off to you big time, dude. That's like a very big compliment from somebody like you of your caliber for real. Cause man, just keep doing what we're doing, man. Ravel, you're the best, dude. Cuckoo's Nest, the best. I'm doing this for you guys. You guys, someone was like, "Hey, make a stream, dude. I hope you stream more." And I'm like, "Okay, right, cool." I just went into somebody's stream. There's 12 people in there. I'm like, "Okay, so they're still doing it." It's better. You can't talk to people when there's 400 people. You can't even read all the comments. You know, it's like better. Plus, we all been like watching this shit and doing this since the last 4 years. So it's really man. Well, hats off to you. I think that's going to come into your benefit. I think all that work is going to come back like a flood on you when you need it the most, and me when we're in our older age and we can't do what we're doing, dude. We're not the animals that we were, dude. You know what I mean? Because I know if you did that you're the person like me that can do the work of five motherfuckers. Like you just that person, dude. So one day, all those kids are going to come back to help you when you can't do the work of five people anymore, but you're going to have two or three kids that could do the work of five people each. And this is what I learned with my other son is that they bring friends, dude. There's other kids like that kid had other kids that were just like gravitate towards me because they didn't have fathers. And, here was like this cool situation, cool little family. And this kid's my best friend. And it was like for anywhere we went, dude, any type of situation, be it club sports or schools, anywhere that that kid was gonna go, I knew I was gonna get like 4 or 5 good ass kids out of it, dude. Like that's what's crazy, man. You know what I mean? So, but that's only if you do right by them. I've seen other people that use them to traffic drugs in high schools, or they use them to recruit people for human trafficking purposes, or like or prostitution, and their fucking ship crashes and burns like a fucking hot bag of shit, dude, quickly. Right? I've seen other people that they weren't into no crimes, but they were gang banging, and they were bringing these kids up, like fucking riding that shit, dude, like it's scripture, and fucking and doing damage and stuff. And uh that didn't end well quickly, right? I've seen people I've seen abusive situations, I've seen people using drugs, not treating the kids right, and the kids have animosity and stuff. So it only works if you do it right, man. That's what's the awesome thing about it. And like you're obviously doing it right. And it's gonna come back to you in your old age, or when we don't have the ability to work like that anymore, and these kids are gonna come back and take care of us like a flood, dude. Like if you spent $200,000 raising your kids, you're gonna get like $4 million in return. Watch, I'm telling you, dude. Anything can happen. I've seen a kid that I grew up with. He's like moved to a town in California where the church town preacher has a weed farm. The fucking sheriff, the local town sheriff has a weed farm, and this is what they do. And he fucking started and stuck with it, and 7 years later, he's like a weed fucking tycoon, dude. So fucking rolling, and that just happened overnight. You know what I mean? All because somebody took care of a kid, dude. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I seen him take care of his dad. And it's a fucking beautiful thing, man. We will smoke a fatty one day. Fuck yeah. That's right. I think I'm gonna have a house party maybe, and then but it's only like not open invite, just people I know are cool through here. You know what I mean? Because I've seen who's cool and who's not. It's not gonna be an open invite for the whole internet. Right. Anyway, you guys have a good day, man. I really appreciate it. It helps me a lot. It does. It helps me a lot, dude. Just be able to talk about this stuff, and then people that are around all stop what they're doing. They're like, ear hustling, like, oh, I can tell when it goes silent around me, dude. It feels like I'm on one because everybody's over listening, right? You know what I mean? And the only one that says something is think about that for a minute. There's 8 people and everybody's into it, dude, and you're the only one that fucking has something shitty to say. That's not a red flag to yourself? Crazy, dude. Oh, that's a Brazil. There's a California pepper. It's not really from California, but they call it a California pepper because there's 2 kinds of Brazilian pepper and a California pepper. The Spaniards brought them here in the late 1600s. So they're kind of like a native tree, but there's only 3 trees native to California: cottonwood poplar, a sycamore tree, and um, a coast live oak. That's it. Now, Torrey Pines has the second rarest pine tree in the world, called a Torrey pine, found only right here in La Jolla. The number one rarest is on a mountain in Hawaii, found only in that mountain in Hawaii, right over there. But you might not, because I think they might not survive in cold weather. I don't know if they could survive a frost. We have a lot of shit that can't survive a frost, like yuccas. Well, I think they can, but they don't do good. But bananas definitely cannot survive a fucking frost. Um, Palms cannot survive a frost. Palms of any kind. Um, there's a few things, but everything is imported. Everything in California only has three indigenous trees: a sycamore, a cottonwood poplar, and a coast live oak. And I think coast live oaks and cottonwood poplars are found everywhere in the fucking world. Palm trees aren't even native to California. In fact, they're considered an invasive species, and the county pays arborists like me all the time. They have open contracts to remove palm trees. Like they can't get them all, but any like designated nature area or a natural preserve or something, them fucking palm trees got to go. And there's date palms in there, dude, like fat ones, like fucking that are heavy in thousands. That's why people don't. I don't know, but that beetle came through. A beetle. We had a beetle come through and just about as if it didn't kill everyone, they're dying right now. Every date palm in the fucking California. Redwoods are native, but not to Southern California, but they are here, but they never get bigger than 20 or 30 feet. And if they don't have a human taking care of them, they're going to die of drought eventually. Very common to find 20 or 30-foot redwoods that are dead and standing there that could be trickled down from Northern California for seals, but that's Northern California. California might be more than 1,000 miles long. It's not very wide, but it's fucking long as fuck, dude. Might be a couple thousand. So those motherfuckers are up there. But you know what? You know, a redwood tree is its own species of tree. It's not a conifer. It's not a pine. It's not a fucking deciduous. It's not an evergreen. It is its own species of tree that is millions of years old. We find fossil evidence of giant red sequoia trees. Redwood, which is scientific name is Sequoia giganteum, we find prehistoric evidence of them, dude. How fucking crazy is that? It probably is. They have some of them that are like I've seen that are like tagged, you know what I mean? Like this tree is fucking 123,000 years old. And you're like, what the fuck? And it's like fucking 300 feet tall. And you could count it's crazy, dude. Sequoia giganteum, or commonly known as a redwood tree. I know I should, but you know why I don't? Because there's some people that I follow that do them, and they offer so much more of a wealth of knowledge that it's almost embarrassing. But there's some guys out there, dude, that are like known in academia. They're the top horticulturists in the world. They have millions of followers and subscribers. They're like they're in Ecuador studying this fucking seed, and Harvard's paying for it. I'm telling you, they have like fucking standing fucking teaching credentials and professorialships and stuff, and they're all like face tattooed, and they make comments like exactly like the kind of shit I say. It's hilarious, dude. I forget the guy's name. Oh, I think it's called "Crime Doesn't Pay, but Botany." No, botany doesn't pay, but crime does, or crime doesn't pay, but botany does, something like that. On TikTok, that guy is hilarious, dude. He's from San Diego. He goes, his shit's all over the world. He likes Patagonia, Madagascar, I think. I don't know. I forget. Maybe Ecuador, some weird fucking place. But I think he goes where they send him because there's like questions that humanity has that he has to answer. He's paid to do. I don't know how that fucking works, but he's hilarious because he fucking says fucked up shit, and he uses like fucked up analogies, but it's just the funniest, craziest thing. It's hilarious, dude. Okay. To answer your question, because there's people like that out there. You know what I mean? I just like I don't know, but I could make some. You know what? Here's why. Here's why. I know the exact answer because I did some deep soul searching on why somebody that's not funny would try to make a comedy videos and shit. They're like, so why somebody that's like it's like so fucking pathetic and so fucking tragic and so like many wrong things in so many ways. Why the fuck would possess you to like try to get into comedy or like and like I really started soul searching and I came to the answer, dude, which is that I put my life and my soul into arboriculture and botany and it didn't pay that good. It doesn't pay that good. In fact, the only time it pays good is when you go into the private sector and you talk a big botany game in order to make the people that you're pretty much deceiving out of a lot of money feel better or more comfortable about giving you these large amounts of money for something that doesn't really need to be done or it needs to be done but it's not going to involve as much as you're leading them to think and you're definitely charging them way more. I mean, it's like California is really bad, dude. Like if anybody like from Georgia or like other parts of the country, you would vomit if you've seen that. Like there are in fact some people that pay $15,000 for a fucking medium sized removal or some shit just because they're super rich and they're total Karens and they do believe when somebody tells them like, oh, we have to have this permit and we got to have a crane guy here and they get all this shit just like insurance companies when you're meant the more settlement you're going to get is based on the bill. Like you have to take an ambulance ride. You have to fucking get all kinds of medical bill up there in order to get a big settlement. That's how it is in the tree game. And most people will do their pricing based on what their needs are. And if your needs are like I need money, motherfucker, and you got some small ass bitch ass tree, they're gonna lie. And I've had people tell me to lie, like, dude, you better go tell this person that this tree is in danger and when you're and that it needs to go and it's gonna fuck up the house and everything because I need to fucking another $1,500 or it ain't gonna you know what I mean? And then you're like, what the fuck? And you see these people do that. I know another guy that carries Kool-Aid packets around. And anytime anybody says anything about, well, should I be feeding it something? Like, oh yeah, man, actually, I'm glad you said that. If you don't do that, it's gonna die. All these look, see this right here? This is that is red pepper leaf disease. That shit is gonna infect your whole slope right here. And man, I'm telling you, man, it must be the Lord or something because I got the stuff in my truck right now. I was supposed to do this. The person didn't show up and I got the stuff right there. But it's super expensive and they're probably gonna call me and still want it done. So, I don't know how I feel about, sprinkling my $200 packet on it. But I mean, you're like, well, that's it. $200 will save my whole slope. Like, you know what I mean? It's fucking Kool Aid. It's literally Kool Aid, dude. I was told to carry Kool Aid, dude, because people all the time will ask, do I need to kill the stump? Or how do I do this? Or what about this bug? And I'm telling you, that's how it is. So that's how it is with whatever the fuck else we were talking about that I already forgot about. Whatever it was we were talking about, that's what they do too. So there's that. That's what I was talking about. See, that guy's hilarious. Exactly. No shit. Feed the bugs vitamin C. I don't know. I had a really good point to that. I wish I could have remembered where I was going. It was a very good point. It was going to come around full circle, but I just, you know what I mean? I'm hitting this vape pen so that I get distracted from the circle. But there's something we were talking about that people do the same thing. They naturally deceive. It's a system of deception from the gate. So like whatever you're doing, you know what I mean? Like people inherently are expecting this deception or anticipating. Yeah, they will get you, man. I'm saying I gotta like, man, I wish I could remember what the fuck I was going with that, dude. Damn. Oh yeah, that's where I was going with it. Because I don't do that, I was saying why I would try to get into comedy or why I don't make a tree channel, a botany channel, is because there's no money in it and it's extremely difficult. And there's a lot of fucking things that go wrong and they're going to go wrong and you anticipate them going wrong and you have the money and the tools and the setup waiting for that to happen. And the whole thing revolves around that. And it's insanity, dude. And the fact that I never lose money, like even if you know what I mean, like I now it has happened where I had to say like at any point from one more step forward, I'm gonna start losing money and had to like therefore walk away. Like I've had that happen, but I don't, because I'm seasoned, I'm doing it long. I've heard Zane say he started doing tree work and did a couple tree jobs on some video. And he was like, "Fuck, man, this shit is so hard. I don't know how the fuck you can make money at this shit." That's real. How you make money is the same way with poker. You have to really know what the fuck you're doing because the room and the margin for error and increase is so fucking slim that if you don't know exactly what the fuck you're doing, you're not going to be able to take advantage of it. Therefore, you're not going to make anything. And that little trickle that you make will start to be a little more and a little more. And then, like, you know what I mean? After 2 or 3 hours, like, okay, it looks like I got something. Like, it's $200 here. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that is something. 2 hours that felt like fucking six, you know, but it's true. It's how I can sit out here and run my gap for 3 fucking hours long and then go do 20 minutes worth of work. And people are stopping. I'm going, oh my God, look so good. I'm like, yeah, I gave you the discounted price of $4,000. You know what I mean? But look, see, because I'm not willing to deceive people and work my dick into the dirt or deceive other people that should be going out and finding their own trees. But because I need them here doing my trees, I keep them in constant fear of losing their job and encourage them to make decisions like bearing children and taking on car payments and stuff because I know that they're going to be more dependent on me. And me keeping them in a system of fear, like, well, be careful, man. You were 2 minutes late. I can't keep you around if that's how you're going to do me. Right? That is fucking dirt in my eyes. You are the lowest form of fucking shit. That fucking needle that the camel has to go through. And I hope you get caught and choked to fucking death on that motherfucker, dude. That's how I feel about that. It is so disgusting to me that I'd fucking started turning around and avoiding people like that and got out of the tree business and started finding my own trees. And that's why I don't deceive people to do the work where I'm out here having to do it because I would have to be lying to them and keep them. I don't want to do that. I want to tell you, bro, you know what? How come you're not going out and finding your own trees, bro? You have a family. Your chick is not going to respect you, homie, after you don't do this for yourself and you just working years and years working for another man. She going to go out and find that other man, bro. Why is she fucking with you, fo? You know what I mean? That's facts, dog. And then depending on what kind of people you're fucking with, she could have a resentment or something. Like you could fuck with good people. Go shut that door so my car battery doesn't die. But you know what I mean? So I'm not willing to live like that and work like that and deceive people like that. Therefore, just being a hardworking man that's honest, gives honest pricing and do the work. And because the first law of thermodynamics that everything is in a constant state of decline and there's so many things that are gonna go wrong, they're anticipated and accounted for, but that's your fucking life. That's a hard ass life, bro. And if you ain't willing to deceive people, you're just gonna be stuck in that hard life. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to fucking, if I have a chance to do anything I want to do and I can create anything I want to create, I will do anything other than motherfucking tree work. You know what I'm saying? And if I mean, I'm in it to win it on everything I do. It's always in the back of my mind, at least. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that this is going to pay off for me in any kind of way immediately, but I think, like all things, you stick with it. Weird shit happens. You know, like people do end up in their professions that they're in because they were like doing a hobby or something that they stuck with, and it just like things happen, dude. And so, look, I met all you fucking wonderful people, dude, for real. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, of course there's things unless it's a hate, unless you're a hater, right? That's a reason, right? Because you're meeting wonderful people, right? You know what I mean? And that's the friendships you're building on is other people hating, and that's a platform is that we all hate Zane. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know, guess what? And that's the other thing, dude, is that the reason I'm doing these live streams is because sometimes I just like to push the shit in a little bit. You know what I mean? So all those people that like hate me, and I come back or I'm doing this or doing that, or I said this about you, dude. You know what I mean? And you're just fucking seething. Like sometimes I want to smash the shit in a little bit, you know, and just push it in. So what better time to do that? Because I can go do 20 minutes worth of work in fucking five after running my gap for 4 hours and then have the nerve to charge it for it too. You know what I mean? But that's what it is, dude. So you've got to play to win. And that's what I'm always doing in my mind. And I am not going to feel like a winner, dog, if I'm doing fucking tree work in the end. Like I got to build my dream. Like, okay, wait, here we are. The fuck, bro, you don't even know, dude. I can't do it. And then the other reason that I don't do it on TikTok is because everything I do is flagged as dangerous, hazardous, event, and you can't do that, dude. You know what I mean? Like some people can do backflips off of the bike, you know what I mean? But if I tried it, or if Kel Sherpa tried it, they would flag him for dangerous acts, dude, promoting dangerous acts. You know what I mean? Because every fucking 11-year-old is going to go out trying to do backflips now. It's weird, you know what I mean? But Jeremy McGrath could do it, and because I think they pay too, man. Because I hear a lot of people talking about that. They're like, man, my wife got mad because I spend so much money on TikTok. I'm like, how the fuck do you spend money on TikTok? TikTok actually has paid me a little bit of money. Like that, what? It's weird. But like, I don't want to be doing tree work because that is going to pay off. If they don't cut that off and make it illegal, I am going to start making a big time fucking return on that one. And TikTok goes into so much other shit. It's not just the fucking content you're getting paid for, but every single thing that you do in your stream is a market affiliate, what they call it. So, like, if you're using steel chainsaws, if you're fucking, this kind of rope, that kind of, Samson ropes, Petzl fucking carabiners, you know what I'm saying? Oh God, the crime! I mean, that's great. That's awesome that you guys know that fucking channel. That's the same. That guy is the shit. That guy's my hero. I would follow that dude around. Fuck, dude, I'd sell my booty to that dude and become his groundman and just like for like fucking $4 an hour. I don't give a fuck. That's what I'm talking about. That's not that when you're like doing your passion, don't take my words as discouraging somebody from, working a remedial job in order to learn something or gain a mastership of a fucking craft or knowledge of something because I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when we get stuck in a position and we're doing a skilled trade for somebody else instead of our own fucking pocket for wages. That's not a good trade. That's not what God put you on this earth for. That's a system that man has figured out how to fucking trick other men that have a spiritual deficiency or don't have a knowledge because they didn't grow up being taught the right way. That's why I kind of defend Sammy. Like I'm questioning him a little bit lately, but you know what? I still defend him because I know that the amount of abuse and neglect that he experienced, and it's so evident in everything that he does that I don't like to see him getting picked on. But yeah, dude, that's what I like about that guy. And that guy will be like, yeah, this you can see right here, this type of stamen is definitely designed. for an insect, not for pollination through air. You could see with that really hooked protrusion right there on the glacial node is, and you're just like, fuck, dude, the fuck. He's like, that determines at which fucking stage the pollen's introduced to which characteristics the plant will have. Will it have Gestea Phoenix dactyliferaris, or will it have a Gestatia of Phoenix canariensis? And you're like, what the fuck? Like, I wasn't even thinking about any of that. Bro. I'm still on the bug, homie. Like, what? Like, that's fucking, that guy blows my mind. Believe me, if you're an arborist, it just fucking gets even better. It's like, whoa. And because he's from San Diego, he's like explaining shit like exactly, you know what I mean? Like something that's in the crack of a fucking, that guy's the shit, dude. Yeah, I can't quite put on my face what he looks like, but I know I'd hear his, I know I'd know it by his voice, you know? I hope I fucking get to stream snipe that guy someday. You know what I mean? You'll hear him filming some fucking ice plant, you know what I mean? Yeah, dude, that's crazy. No, that's true. That's true. And that's what he's saying. If there's scientific evidence of it, the plants and the fucking insects, the organisms develop characteristics based on their need and what they do for each other, man. It's crazy. John Muir is like the that guy of the fucking 1800s. And he talks a lot about that, especially in Yellowstone. He's a I mean, a fucking here in California, whatever that fucking park is. With but yeah, yeah, he does have a bunch of hand tattoos. He's cool. You can tell he's just you're like, what? How is this guy just like the coolest motherfucker, dude? All right, I'm gonna jump off here, you guys. Everybody, have a great day, man. You guys are the shit, dude. Don't be mean.